All the things that are said, playing devil's advocate, and no one here to judge you. Especially true false, you was but I love you. Everybody's listening, nobody's tripping. Just like you crazy, everybody's flipping. It's right or crazy, running self-defense. You want the right side, there's no need to pretend. It's an open forum, never done before. It's a future, it's a no cousin, collapse, no bugging. Now it's a charge to switch for me buzzing. We don't really care if you're right or you're wrong. The tune is the myth, it was ever time it's sound.
And we go a little something like this. Hit it! At some point, you will be offended by something said on this show. But playing devil's advocate is meant to be a forum for open, honest, and more importantly, judgment-free dialogue. The opinions expressed here may not necessarily be those of the host or of the show in general, but we're willing to have the uncomfortable conversations so that we can heal and find solutions for our listeners and quite possibly even ourselves. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss Kiki, the consummate provocateur, and tonight we have a great show lined up for you guys. For 120 minutes, you are going to be edutained. That means for 2 hours, you are going to have some education and some entertainment, and I can't wait to give it to you. So before I can do any of that, I need to give you guys the business of the lighthouse keeping before we can go into any of that good stuff. So for those of you guys who just may be joining us, this is Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss Kiki, the consummate provocateur. And we are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. to you guys on the East Coast. If you happen to miss a live broadcast of the show, you can always go to the iTunes store, type in our name, Playing Devil's Advocate, and you will be able to subscribe to our podcast free of charge, and anytime we do a show, you'll be able to upload a show. Also, if you don't, while you're there in the iTunes store, if you type in my name, Kiki Richardson, you can download yourself a copy of my book, The Other Woman Code of Conduct, What Every Other Woman Should Know, and Men Too. You can see the poster right over my shoulder right there, so make sure you check that out. If you don't have access to the iTunes store, go ahead and go to KikiRichardson.com. You'll be able to purchase a copy of my book, any merchandise. You'll be able to find out about the show, the guests, the hosts, everything that has to do with anything you can find right there on KikiRichardson.com. Please be mindful that we are tweeting in real time. So if you're following us, make sure you send us a tweet at PDA_Miss Kiki. Follow us at PDA_MSKIKI. You can also post to our Facebook wall at facebook.com/Playing Devil's Advocate. And you can also give us a call at 347-237-5271. Press 1 if you want to speak to us, and you can be in our queue when we know you want to talk. And we are streaming live via YouTube, on YouTube via Google Hangouts. So if you want the link to find out where we are broadcasting on YouTube, all you have to do is go to our Facebook page, and you'll be able to click the link and watch the show. So without any further ado, I think it's about time I bring on my cast of characters that ride shotgun with me almost every week. Some of them got absentee problems, but I ain't gonna say nothing. First and foremost, we're gonna do ladies first. She hails from my hometown, the Windy City, and she is known as a fallen angel. And if you don't know how or why she fell from grace, just listen to this. Lube is for amateurs. Yep, that's what I said. I didn't say it. I'm just repeating it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Miss Sporty, Spunky Angel. What it do, Mamacita?
What's going on, Miss Kiki?
I'm chilling like a villain. And let me go ahead and bring in this dude right here, sitting right next to you, to your left.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we used to call him Slap because he was something like a pimp. Now we have to change his initials to NLAP, nothing like a pimp. He thinks he's a player, but he gets played every chance that he gets. I don't even know what to say about him anymore. I'm kind of disappointed in him, but, you know, it is what it is, right? So let me go ahead and play some music for this cat and get him on the air so he can defend himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Andreas, nothing like a pimp, Ferguson.
Where's my theme music?
You don't have none.
Y'all, everybody, what's going on, PDA fans? How's everybody doing tonight? All you nations and Greeks out there and everybody else, how y'all feel? I am so glad to be back today. I'm so glad to be back. You know, sometimes I like get some away, but I always
What?
nights, and I'm glad I'm back.
What the hell are you rambling about?
I wasn't rambling. I was saying it was
I
on
know,
my
I
mind.
apologize. Your music went on strike. It didn't even want to play Pimpin' Ain't Easy because
It's
you
okay.
just gave the game a black eye. It went on strike. Your music went on strike.
That's okay. That's okay. I have my music back. I just slipped up a little bit. It's okay. We all do it, you know, to hear.
I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what you did to piss off your music. Well, whatever. Anyway.
I could just about imagine. Go ahead.
Anyway. All right. So, guys, today's topic is the art of communication. And there have been so many things that I think that we've talked about even in our production meeting that, you know, is going on in the world, that all the technology that's available today makes me wonder if we're effectively communicating with one another anymore. And, you know, some of the questions that we've asked is texting and instant messaging and social media destroying the way that we communicate with each other, almost to the point where we aren't. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week. If it's all but dead, what we can do. We're going to give up some scenarios and some solutions. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to I should say, chart a course of a solution, not just complain about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to have to say to y'all, you know, this week like I did a couple weeks ago, you may speak. That tickled me. But one of the things that I found interesting today, guys, and since, you know, and we can talk about social media and its presence and its influence on our society, our culture in general, and I mean our culture, I mean just every human being alive pretty much at this point. Y'all know on Facebook, right, how they have the like buttons and everything?
Yes.
Well, Facebook just introduced a dislike button.
Yes, I love it.
I heard it this morning on I heard it this morning. Mark Zucker was on the radio, as a matter of fact, talking about it.
Yeah, Mark who?
Is it Zucker or Zuckerman? What is
it? Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg? Is
yes,
Zuckerberg?
I say yes.
I mean,
yes,
he has
that is his name.
more money than God, but it's Zuckerberg, right?
How could he? I never understood that phrase, more money than God, but whatever. So, yeah, they've introduced the dislike button. You know, they said they have been fighting back and forth about it because, you know, they wanted to keep things positive. But they also, on the other hand, the reason why they did introduce it is that, You know, it's been something that people have been asking for. So clearly there's a need for it, and we have a different ranges of emotions, and sometimes we like stuff and sometimes we don't. So you know, for all those social media whores who feel like their existence is verified or somehow validated because they get all these likes or these comments on social media, it'll be interesting to see now on Facebook people getting dislike buttons and how they start to respond to that.
Girl, I can't wait to push it. Unlike, girl, I'm just going, oh my God, I can't wait. Oh,
Unlike?
I already know the first person. Dislike, unlike, whatever it is. I can't wait to push it.
But if you just don't like something, why can't you just not like it? Not hit the like button.
I'm going to push it because that's just what I'm going to do.
You know what, there's something, and before we go too far down the rabbit trail on this one, but I get your point. There is something to the point of if you just don't like it, just don't respond to it. But there are some things that are so egregious sometimes that it's like I have to let somebody know that I don't like it, or, you know, that I don't agree with it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because some people just don't know. Like I said, some people literally live their lives for social media, and were it for not for social media, they would have no real existence on this planet. So, you know, there would be a higher rate of suicide if I'm thinking, you know, if there wasn't such a thing. Because you got to think about all the I'm just saying, you got to think about all these lonely people. You got to think about all these insecure people. You got to think about all of that stuff that now they have a somewhat, you know, the race to get friends and followers and stuff like that so that they can feel important. You know?
I never thought of it that way. That's really sad.
And there's a whole community of people that, it's a whole community of people out there that will engage you when you're lonely. You know? So in terms of social media, guys, and technology in general, I think there are a lot of different ways we can talk about, you know, technology. We can talk about text messaging. We can talk about instant messaging. We can talk about email. We can talk about, you know, social media posts, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just interesting to me how people just don't have time to do anything anymore. Everything is so quick, fast. You know, it's kind of like what Bernie used to say. Sporty, he used to call, and excuse my language, he used to call them microwave niggas, right?
Yeah.
everything quick, fast, in a hurry. Ding, ding,
in a
ding.
hurry, yeah.
Done. And so now you don't even have to write a whole entire message. You don't even have to use the entire language. You don't have to say laughing out loud or oh my goodness. You don't even have to say that anymore. All the acronyms and all that other stuff. And you know, exactly. I think that or this. Not only are you gonna send me a text message, and y'all tell me about how y'all feel about this. Because we've gotten to the point when it comes to communicating that we want everything instantaneous. You send me a text message because you want an instant response, or you send me an instant message because you want an instant response. But not only, let's just take it a little further. Now you want to know, you got more folks saying, I know you got my message because you got the red indicator. You know, red at such and such time.
Ooh, I do not like that.
You know, I never really even noticed that. Does it pop up every time you send or receive a text message?
Unless you take it off. I notice it with Apple users. Like if I send Kiki a text message or she sends me one, you can see where it says delivered. And then you can see if we have it on our phones, the notification, where it lets us know if we've read each other's message or not.
So was mine the same way?
Yours, like if I look at the phone, yours will tell me if you read my message or not. It says it plain as day right here. See how it says right
yours
there?
Does. Okay. Yes, yours does, Andreas. You didn't change yours. Yours says red. Because you didn't disable that function, but it does say delivered.
Okay.
But like on this person, all it tells me is it was delivered. It won't tell me. He doesn't allow me to know whether he read it or not. It just was delivered.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah, because people
No, I
get a
know.
little attitude. They get a little stank, dank. And even like with Instant Messenger, even on Facebook with their Instant Messenger, it'll tell you red and it'll tell you what time. And then people be like, well, I know you. Oh, you got my message. No, you don't, bitch, because my stuff is open all the damn time. So, you know what I mean? That don't mean I got it.
Yeah, I don't even like that either because, like if you have those, like the group messages, if somebody who sends the outsider stuff that's like business oriented, or like if you have personal stuff, like we have our little thing or whatever, and we need to know if everybody's seeing what we've communicated. But if you've got the message where they send in those chain messages or things like that, and you can see everybody who's read it or who's seen it, but this person didn't respond. Well, you saw the message, but you didn't respond to it, and that irritates the hell out of me. I'm like, don't even include me in that extracurricular bullshit, because it is just so, oh my God, I can't stand it. Cannot stand it. It drives me up the flipping wall. I cannot stand it.
What else do you think about technology and how it's affecting our ability to communicate?
Well, another one of the big things that drives me nuts, you hit on it, that irks me, especially in professional communication, is how they are shortening things. Like instead of saying, literally, the word okay is now just K. Or if you're writing an email and you say, thank you, it's the letter U instead of the word Y-O-U, comma. It's just little things like that. It's driving me bananas. It drives me up the flipping wall. And what makes it even worse is that now Webster's is putting that shit in the dictionary. As if we know what the letter.
What you mean it's putting it in the dictionary?
Girl, quit playing. I know you know.
So,
you're my
You said they're putting
scholar.
it in the dictionary. What? Give me an example of what you're saying they're putting in the dictionary.
So let's say like LOL means laugh out loud. If you go in Webster's dictionary and look up LOL, it will give you the definition of LOL, meaning laugh out loud. If you go in Webster's dictionary and look up the letter U, it will give you that it's an abbreviation for the letter U. Like in our, if you look at our Twitter, one of our repeated offenders just said selfie is in the dictionary, and it is. They just gave a list of them probably a few weeks ago of the new words that are in the dictionary now, and selfie is one of them.
Okay. They said Facebook Messenger, when you have a group text and you see all heads falling down below below your post, yeah, when somebody's ready because the little head falls down, or
it does.
The check mark goes away or something like that, or people get insulted because you leave their group chat. You like, bitch, I didn't ask you to add me to this shit. You know what I mean? Like, how you gonna get an attitude with me because I don't want to be a part of your damn thing and get a whole bunch of messages. Now, I sent out a group message for the show, but all of those people I have already asked, hey, Kiki, can you send a reminder? And at the very beginning, it says, do not reply to this. So that means, dumbass, what you read, don't reply to here. Everybody don't want to hear what you have to say. Also, another Twitter comment says, deaf kids don't even sign anymore. They just stand around doing a group text and cracking jokes on people.
Exactly. They don't. That is hilarious.
It is funny. But it's sad, but it's true.
It is
true. Our producer said people can misuse the dislike button as well. I don't know. I wonder if there's some type of penalty for if you get a bunch of dislikes. Is that a way for them to, know if somebody's being abusive or, you know what I mean? Is that I wonder what that's about. I know that Facebook never does, and they will never do anything that is just because. There's always something behind it. I wonder what the real reason behind why they're, so now all of a sudden.
They want to test it out and see.
I mean, Facebook's been around for a very long time. And so for them to just now, and people have been asking for a very long time. And for them to just
how they keep beta testing so many different things, and now all of a sudden everybody can do it. Because, you get so many things that they'll start out and test with and do, and then it goes out to everybody. So clearly they want to test and see how effective this dislike button is going to be with people. Because,
but I want to know what they're going to do with that information. It's like, what are they?
They probably want to see what people. They probably want to see how many more people will participate than, like, you know, say for instance, you have on. Let's just say your shirt. Like I told you earlier, I like your shirt, right? But that was just a verbal communication between me and you. So let's say this picture of you in this shirt shows up on your Facebook page somewhere, and Andreas doesn't like it, but he doesn't have the opportunity to share that he doesn't like the blue shirt. So he can press a button, but there are some people, look, you know, here y'all go with that looking in the camera thing again. We have the opportunity to say, well, I don't like the shirt just because Angel likes the shirt. You know, Andreas, NLAP, don't like the shirt. So now NLAP can say, you know, dislike.
Yeah,
you know,
whenever
so,
he posts something about being a pimp, I'm going to hit the dislike button.
Right. See?
Every
now
single time.
Dislike that comment.
Every single time.
Dislike that comment.
I think, you know, email, you know, it's gotten so bad and it's so pervasive in terms of how we communicate with one another. These acronyms, you know, electric mail used to be something that was used in business so that we can get information to our business partners, our associates, our clients in a quick manner, right, in an expedient fashion. But now people use emails. It's so commonplace. You know, people use email for everything. Everybody got an email address. Even my newly knowing how to Google mama got a damn email address.
Watch it. She heard that.
No. I'm saying she doesn't even check it, but she has it.
I'm just saying she probably heard that, you know, because Google got a new app now that it talks to you. So she probably heard you say something. She don't like earbuds
sticking in her ears. She don't like earbuds sticking in her ears. So, you know, but anyway, I will say I'm not afraid of her, but that would be a lie. No, but, you know, now in emails, the fact that they shorten email down to instant message, you know what I mean? And then people now use the terminology in these instant messages in the damn emails now. And it's like an email is supposed to be a letter. A letter is long form. Now, if you're going to use short form, then you use the short form, which we instant messenger, which goes back to my whole thing about how we're not effectively communicating because we've totally lost track of the formal language. We're going to all sound like a bunch of babbling idiots pretty soon because they you know, abbreviate everything. You know, it's just insane to me. It's just insane to me. I remember when I was in California, they was like, how many tats you got? I'm like, I don't know what that is. They was like, tattoos. Well, bitch, why you just didn't say tattoos? Why you got a shortened tat? I don't understand. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me that, you know, now we can't even communicate with each other effectively because the words don't even make sense anymore. It's like we've created a whole nother language, and if you don't even know, you know, funny story, and then we go move on to some other stuff. Funny story. Last night, cousin Chan and I were at Rodney Perry's birthday was yesterday. So big shout out to Rodney Perry. Also big shout out to Anthony Dorsett Jr. His birthday was on Monday. I meant to say that at the top of the show. But yesterday we were at his sketch comedy show. He has sketch comedy classes, and this year they were straight out of Next Level, which because the name of his sketch comedy group is Next Level, right? And so they were doing a sketch, and the entire time Chan was like, do you know what they're talking about? I was like, so she's literally translating to me what they were saying in order for me to understand that it was funny, because it sounded like a whole nother language to me. It sounded like an entirely different language to me. I was like, yeah, take it off and leave it off, Andreas. It was a whole nother language. It was like, what the hell? Wow, why does she have to translate to me in real time what I'm looking at with my eyes? So your message is not even reaching your sender when y'all in face to face, because the language has been so distorted to the point where, you know, we have now taken slang and made it the common vernacular.
And then people get mad when you don't understand what the hell you're saying or what they're saying, because I will look at somebody and go, you need to speak to me in the good King's English because I don't know what the entire fuck you talking about. And
well,
it's bad when I have to cuss at you.
They at least need to talk to me in English.
With somebody's English, because I just, girl, look, I don't get it. When they start saying what you know, girl, I can't even begin to talk like that because I don't get it.
I don't understand. So
it upsets me so much. I don't want to talk to people.
I like to know that, you know, the show last night, were people laughing or just yelling out, laugh out loud, LOL.
Okay, see, that right there,
LOL.
People, I saw some people
that's funny
having a conversation like that. They were like, LOL, BRB. I was like, are you in Walmart?
How old were they?
Walmart.
How old were these people?
Adults. Kiki, they were adults. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. They were adults, Kiki, and they were in the Walmart store, and they were saying, LOL, okay, I gotta go get the bread, BRB, and I'm sitting there going,
what is BRB?
Be right back.
Oh, okay.
BRB, I said, and I'm sitting here, my face, and they looked at me. I'm like,
I'm glad you were there because I done said something like,
the look on my face was like,
because you know what you would have said was WTF.
Right, WTF.
That's what you would have said. You know, it's just weird to me. Somebody was saying, you know, not having an email right now on our Twitter, they're saying not having an email in this time is pretty much like not having a social security number. And, you know, it's funny because there was someone who was taking going for a job interview. And they were like, well, you need to have an email address. Even if you're just setting it up so you could apply, you have to have an email address. Like, that's how we're, you know, it's like, okay, you're not going to call me on the phone. No, you're not going to send me a letter in the mail, but everything got to come through email. Everything is so quick, fast, in a hurry that on one hand, it's helping us to communicate well because it's quicker, right? But on the other hand, it's taking away because there's nothing personal about it. I like getting stuff in the mail with a stamp on it. That's not a bill. I like to get a card every now and again, a handwritten letter, a note, a thank you card, a thinking about you. I like to get those. And for those of you guys who've never seen, my bedroom door literally has cards that my mom has sent me because I like to get that mail. It seems so personal. You know, it's one of those things where somebody actually sat down. One, you thought about me. Two, you thought about me enough to sit down and take time out of your day to write me something. But people are like, well, that's the same with email. I'm like, no, actually it's not. I can send you an email on the toilet. I can send an email on the fly. You know what I mean? While I'm cooking dinner, I can actually speak to my phone. Yeah, I can actually speak it to my phone, and it creates the text or email or whatever and send it to you. So it's like that doesn't require that's not personal at all. That's very cold, and we're nurturing an environment where it's just so cold and callous, and I just
somebody just tweeted us and said email is even antiquated, and I agree with that. I mean, how do you feel about, you know, Kiki, how would you feel if you woke up in January and you looked at your Facebook page and you saw on there just 3 letters from me that said HBD?
Happy birthday, Andreas. He looking like, what does that mean?
It means happy birthday.
Oh my God.
Oh.
How would you?
That goes to show you. I'd rather speak with someone than that just goes to show.
And that's what I say to you on your birthday. I just text on your wall HBD.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting to me. I would, if it were coming from you, I would be like, what the hell going on with her? You know, but some people, that tends to be the norm. It's funny because Anthony, his birthday was on Monday. I sent out a tweet telling him happy birthday, you know, happy birthday shout out to him. But I actually later in the day picked up the phone and called him and said, you know what I mean? And actually left a message.
But what was unique? What was unique about your birthday to him? You not only did you tweet him, which was cool, and I get that social media wise that we do say and people put something personal to it. what was unique about what stood out for me about your birthday thing to me when you put it on his I think the personal page, you said happy birthday to you. I'll call you later.
Yes, I did.
You said that. You said I'll call you later. You know, meaning this is just me acknowledging it publicly, but I'll call you later too. You know, this is just me being nice because, you know, that's what the norm, that's what people do. Happy birthday on the wall or whatever, you know, because people do get offended. You ain't tell me happy birthday on my wall because for some strange reason, you know, life ain't the same if you don't acknowledge me on Facebook. Get the fuck
publicly,
out of here,
you know,
okay?
publicly.
Yeah.
You know, publicly
say happy birthday on my wall. You know, it's like, oh, dear God. But, you know, I think it's just more personable. I don't even check my mailbox every day anymore. It's like maybe once a week I go out there to the mailbox unless I'm expecting something. And normally it's probably via UPS or Federal Express or something. You know, I don't go to the mailbox.
But even that, Federal Express, UPS, people barely ever, well, one reason I can tell you why I don't go to the post office is because they don't never send shit the way it's supposed to be. You never get it if you send it. It's like,
girl,
the fact, here's the thing, work for it or not. Here's a learning moment for some of you people who didn't pay attention in social studies. Work for it or not, the fact that the post office is, we have to have it because it's in the Constitution. That mofo would have been out of business a long time ago because it ain't good for nothing. Andres, what are you over there doing? Touching yourself?
I'm
you got this look on your face like I'm up to something. He's like, you be polishing your own knob on air. For those of you guys who just may be joining us, this is Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss Kiki, the consummate provocateur, and we are talking about communication, the art of it. And right now we focused a little bit on social media and the whole instant aspect of conversation that it has to happen now, and we're slowly going into how depersonalized we have become. And if you want to be a part of our conversation, you can give us a call at 347-237-5271. Press 1 so that we know you're in the queue and you have something you would like to share with us. If you want to post to our Facebook wall, you can do so at facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate, or you can even send us a tweet. We've been reading tweets all night at PDA_Miss Kiki. Now, don't just send us a tweet. Follow us at PDA_MSKIKI. And we'll get to your comments. I promise you, we do it at some point during the show. Talking about the depersonalization of just how we're becoming. I used to be, you know, you were talking about birthdays. I used to be really, I still am very excited about my birthday, and I actually am very excited about other people's birthdays, right? Because it's not a celebration. It's a celebration of them. I'm happy that you're alive. I'm celebrating your life and the fact that you're here, right? So I used to get mad. I used to like send out messages. I used to put my outgoing message on my phone the day after my birthday on the 26th of January. There would be an outgoing message that said, thank you so much for calling, and you know, many thanks for all of you who helped me to celebrate my birthday. If you didn't call, if you didn't leave a message, if you didn't celebrate with me in any type of way or acknowledge the day that I was born, don't bother leaving a message. Don't care about me now, because I ain't care, because I'm not gonna call you. I did. I used to. And then there would always be people who would leave a message. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I missed it by one day. I couldn't remember if it was today or if it was tomorrow. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I would rather you call me early. I would rather you call me early than to call me after the fact. One, I don't like to be an after fact, but that's just me and my own personal thing. But yeah, you know, I would leave that kind of outgoing message. Like, don't even bother to leave a message because I ain't calling your ass back. I'm not going to answer.
I'm going to call you February 25th.
Huh?
I'm going to call you February 25th.
You can call me February 25th, but you better not be talking about no happy birthday. You better be calling me February 25th to talk about something else.
I'm
going to be like, happy birthday, girl. How you doing? What we going to do to celebrate?
Well, unless you calling me every 25th of every month, okay, then, you know, other than that, you may not have missed the 25th of January. But, you know, speaking of those messages, have you ever, you know, I'm to the point now where I will hang up on people's phones when I call them if they got some old ratchet ass music playing on their outgoing ringtone. or what they call it, call tone or whatever. That might be your favorite song. It might be your favorite song. But how about this? How about you play your favorite song as the ringtone, so when it rings, you hear that shit.
You hear it.
I don't want to hear that shit. And you know, people put either something really, really ratchet or something really, really sad that make you want to slit your wrist. And I'm like, I gotta sit here and listen to this shit until you answer the damn phone.
You are in rare form tonight, Miss Kiki. What's going on? You need a hug?
Yes.
I
was just talking about being personal. I like hugs.
She said yes.
It'd be nice, you know, it's cool when you send little XOXO hugs and kisses, but I actually like a physical hug, you know?
Shit, let me do that now.
She said yes.
You wasn't expecting that one, were you? You wasn't expecting me to say yes, huh?
Yeah, motherfucker, shit.
You were not expecting that. Can you tell me what you see on Twitter? I'm going to check Facebook and see what I'm finding out over here.
We've read pretty much everything on there so far. You know, they're agreeing with us and the same with everything that we've said so far. They want to hug you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll take all hugs.
I do have a question for about communication for our producer. Since she doesn't like to communicate on the show, maybe she'll communicate today. How does she? You know, how do you feel about our producer not wanting to talk on the show?
Sometimes it's best. Sometimes it's best.
Yeah, because what she has to say, you know.
No, for those of you guys who maybe
somebody tweeted us they don't want to. Ain't nobody trying to hug Kiki.
Screw them, they jealous. No, but here's the thing though. In terms of our producer never talking, most producers don't talk on the show. But we're talking about, for those of you guys who do not know Cousin Chan, we are talking about somebody whose name is Endgame, whose name is Chanzilla, whose name is the female Archie Bunker. So, with all of that being said, that should give you an indication of, you know what, maybe we should let her ass loose.
I love hearing her talk.
The show is Playing Devil's Advocate. Why not? But, you know, she has a tendency to go to the way far extreme. She doesn't know balance. She don't know just a little bit. She, again, end game. She skipped to the end. That's her favorite thing. Skip to the end. You know, so it doesn't bother me that she doesn't speak a whole lot sometimes. We all saw the video last night. Shit. Sometimes she just don't need to talk.
Y'all and that talking at the same time, saying the same thing, like y'all got that twin game, had me cracking up. That was hilarious. And the bickering back and forth, I love it. The Bickersons, that's just my favorite show. So, you know, I like it when Endgame talks. I think the communication between the two of you is ultra hilarious. And I think we need more of it.
I'm glad y'all are amused by our shenanigans. Speaking of our producer.
Would you stop rattling paper?
Andreas, what the hell are you eating?
Huh?
Oh, my damn breath.
What are you eating? Your breath that bad, dude? Okay, listen.
No,
it is time.
I just can't chew gum. You told me don't chew gum.
And I don't want you rattling mints either.
Okay.
Okay, for those of you guys who just may be joining us, this is the time of the show where we do our producer's drink of the week. So I'm really excited to bring this one to you because I asked her, I'm asking her now publicly on the air, can you please, producer, can you please make this drink for me in virgin? I'm just saying.
Uh-oh.
Can you please make this drink for me in a virgin? What's up, Vicky Lantoria? We are live on Periscope as well doing our drink of the week. So if you have not joined our Twitter feed, make sure you are following me, Kiki Richardson, on Twitter. And it is time for our producer's drink of the week. I'm so excited. This one is so yummalicious, y'all. What's up, sport?
Yummalicious.
Yes, yummalicious. That's what I'm going to call this drink, even though it has a whole nother name to itself. Have you guys seen it?
Yes, I did. I checked it out.
I've seen it. It looks great. I've seen it.
Hey, the lawgiver, what's up to you guys? I'm trying not to mess up too much. I'm doing way too much over here, but I got to get this drink ready for y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show it to you so y'all can see the yum-maliciousness that I was telling you about. Uh-oh, they looking up my nose. On Periscope, they're looking up my nose, y'all. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us on Periscope. Here is our producer's drink of the week.
Hey everybody, tonight's drink is a strawberry lemon drop martini. Tonight's drink we're going to use 2 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of strawberry flavor, 1 ounce of sweet and sour mix, and a splash of cream. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to combine in a shaker over ice, shake and serve in a chilled martini glass filled with sugar, and garnish with a lemon wedge. And there you have it, a strawberry lemon drop martini. All right, guys, be safe, enjoy, drink responsibly. I'll see you next week.
Woo! Y'all see why I love her? Y'all see why I love that drink of the week? I am talking to the people on Periscope. That is our producer, Cousin Chan's drink of the week. Y'all can follow her on Periscope at The Original Truth, D-A, Original Truth. She is crazy. Hugs and kisses to you, my love. I am talking to our fans that are giving us hearts on Periscope. I know I told you guys that we had 2 letters this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so since we have 2 letters this week, I think it might be appropriate for us to have one of them right now, don't you think?
Okay.
Arnold Lander. I mean, we can, or unless you want to do them I'll do them at the end. All right, for those of you guys who are just joining us on Periscope, we just did our producer's drink of the week, and it is the strawberry lemon drop margarita. I think she was inspired by the lemon drops that she had last night at Rodney Perry's surprise birthday party. So, again, if you guys want to listen to the rest of the show, you guys on Periscope, make sure you follow us on, you can actually call 347-237-5271 to listen to the show. If you want to talk, you can press 1. If you want to just watch us, we're live on YouTube right as we speak right now. And you can get the link by going to our Facebook page, facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate, and click the link and watch us live on YouTube. Or you can send us a tweet at PDA_Miss Kiki. That's PDA_MSKIKI. We would love to see you in our chat room on YouTube or in our chat room on Blog Talk Radio. We have so many different mediums working right now. We're live on Periscope. I'll see you guys in an hour for our Ask PDA segment. That is when our listeners send in letters to ask us what we think, give them our opinion, our advice. So make sure you check back with us on Periscope, guys. We're going to get back to the rest of our show. All right, now, for you hooligans over here, we were talking about the depersonalization and how we've just become so detached. It's affected our ability to be diplomatic. It's affected our ability to be respectful to one another. It's just, it's really bad because, you know, in text messaging and things like that, sometimes you can't discern tone. So people have now gotten to speak. You're a singer, Sporty, and you know how people have said, you know, some singers sound like they talk?
Yes.
Like Mary J. Blige. She sounds like she talks. You know, she sings like she talks, right? There's some singers that just sing. I'm just saying. There's some singers that sound like they talk. And then there's some people who actually write like they talk or talk like they write. And either way, it can be bad if you're, you know, it's like sometimes I hear some of the things that come out of people's mouths, and I'm like, okay. And there's some people that I know better. Like you and I, we might say some things that we know is completely inappropriate, grammatically incorrect, subjects and verbs didn't agree, there were dangling participles, all that stuff, right? We know about that.
on purpose.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. We do it on purpose because we know the difference. There's some people who will continuously say, I've heard it in commercials now, where people are like, if there's a Tostitos commercial where they're talking about something where the party's at. No, where the party is. You know what I mean? I'm
like behind that preposition. Oh my God.
My question was, who did they run that script by, and who okayed it for it to go out grammatically incorrect like that? And then how come the person who was doing the voiceover didn't say, hey, this ain't right? You know what I mean? It's just, it's to the point where I have seen people send emails at work with text speak in it. So we lack of professionalism, and then they don't even realize, they don't even know how to write a letter. They don't understand that you need. Go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is, even though that's done, sometimes people have made it okay that they purposely want to use that type of language in order to feel like they're communicating on people's certain level of communication. If they say, well, where the party at, or where is this, they feel like they're communicating with that group or that peer level, or in order to.
I hated that song.
Huh?
I hated that song. Everything references back to a song or a movie, and you said where the party at.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Now that's what, Jagged Edge with a part, or was that Jagged Edge with
Hey, where the party at?
Party at. Mhm. So and people, they tend to make that like it's okay to use that because they're using it in that frame of reference. And it's like, what makes it worse is when I don't want to say the wrong, I guess for lack of a better word, but the wrong person say it. Like if you're in a corporate setting, and you've got Dan, from mergers and acquisitions coming in saying, well, hey, where's the party at, for the Christmas gathering? It sounds retarded, coming from, it doesn't sound right coming from there, but you get what he's trying to say, and it sounds stupid versus, like it's something really cool that he's trying to come across to sound like he's with the in crowd. Right. It just,
here's the problem with Dan. It doesn't go over well. Here's the problem with Dan. If Dan was about maybe 47, 57, I would look at Dan like, what is your problem, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the problem with Danny coming out of college. Or D-Man who's interning from high school. They do not know how to properly format a letter. I was in charge of a team of an administrative staff. So it was my responsibility to train every admin that came through, whether it was an EA or an AA. And here I go using abbreviations, whether they were an executive assistant or administrative assistant. It was my job in the operations department to make sure that they were trained properly and they knew the protocols and processes in this particular company. Now, there was a young lady who was out of college, fresh out of college, did not know how to write a letter, did not know about the address block and the salutation and the body of the letter. And I'm like, what were you doing in college? You have a
How did that even get by you?
You have a degree and you can't even write a letter? Really? And I know that it's partly not her fault, because if you go back even a step further, even like to last week's conversation when we were talking about the miseducation, the school system, we used to have to do penmanship. We couldn't turn in scribbles, as we would call it, scribble scrabble. Right? We had penmanship. We had to learn how to write cursive, and we also had to learn how to print. They don't teach that anymore. They don't teach penmanship anymore in school. So kids don't even know how to write in cursive. Can you believe that? There are a lot of schools that's not part of their curriculum, where they teach children how to write. They don't even teach. I remember they taught us how to count money. I remember they taught us how to address envelopes. They're not addressing an envelope. The only reason they know what an envelope is because bills come in the mail.
Man, but see, here's the other thing that I have a problem with that is even in school with the computer classes, you still, when you pull up Microsoft Word, you have a template that teaches you how to write the letter.
All you got to do is
it has the format. Exactly. It gives you a wizard that says that.
But that starts you from scratch, right? I mean, that doesn't start you from scratch. If somebody says compose a letter,
you wouldn't know what to do.
Using this, thank you. You wouldn't know what to do. They don't know about dictation. They don't know about any of this stuff. And there aren't very many people who actually transcribe stuff anymore. I mean, I had to teach them how to use the machine where you're listening and you use the foot pedal for the speed and all that other stuff. They don't know how to do that. But there are still some old school people around who actually do like to dictate letters to their assistants. You need to know how to do that, and you need to know how to format that letter, so that it looks professional. What kind of messages are we sending to a global world when you can't even address a damn envelope?
Exactly.
An envelope.
I'm trying.
What part of the game is that? We can still hear you though.
I know, right?
Turn off your camera. I can still hear you. It's just sad to me that you don't know how to formulate a letter. You don't know how to. What are y'all doing over there? Just because you turn the camera off don't mean I can't hear it. Let me communicate this a little better to y'all.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, even when you're texting, everything is done. Everything is done automatically, isn't it? I mean, is that what's going on? I mean, they don't have to know how to do everything the proper way because the computer does it for them.
Right, they know that. Right, yeah. That's what Sporty was alluding to when she was talking about the templates. Right. Is that all they need to do is go in there, pull out a template. But again, let's say that you need to create it from scratch. Say, for instance, someone tells you, okay, I need you to draft me a letter, but I need 1-inch headers, 1-inch headers and footers, and a 1/2-inch left and right margins.
Okay, so when we're doing this, when this needs to be done, isn't there something that they can just go into? Okay, well, I need to do it that way. So I see right here. This is a template for it. So all I have to do is type the words in, and the program does it automatically.
Well, I mean, you have to know how to set the margins. You have to know how to be able to go in there and make those edits in order to do that. I mean, you got people who don't even know how to spell because they're so heavily reliant on spell check. And if it's a word that's similar, you may use the wrong word in context. It's spelled properly, but it's wrong in that space, right? So, it's just so that we don't know. So we don't even know what kind of messages we're putting out there because we don't even know the meanings of words anymore. I remember being young and my mom said to me when I would say I was bored, she'd tell me to read a book. My mama used to make me read the dictionary.
Technology has made us stupid. Technology has made us stupid. I mean, even when we were kids in school, we couldn't, if you walk into class with a calculator, the teacher's like, well, what the hell are you doing with a calculator? We have the calculator desk and we're trying to work it all out. Nowadays, you have to have these things. When you go to class, when you go to school now, you have to have your tablet and you have to have technology has made us stupid. It's not made us stupid, it's made us lazy.
Wait, did you say calculator?
Calculator. Wait, calculator. Calculator. We don't know how to interact with each other face to face anymore.
No.
We don't.
No, we do not.
We meet each other. We meet each other for dates online. We don't talk all day. We text, how's your day going? Good morning. Good night. I'm hungry. I want some. It's been too long. We don't even talk. We don't even pick up a telephone anymore to say, hey, how you doing?
Absolutely. You want to know what's sad? And I think you alluded to it. Families who are sitting in the same room with each other or in the same house.
No one talks. I mean, no one talks. Yeah, I did it. No one talks anymore. We don't sit down at dinner and ask our kids, how did your day go? We don't do that. We text from the other room, did you have dinner? How did you like your dinner? And we don't have these conversations that your kids need so they know exactly where it is you're coming. We don't have these conversations anymore. It's and I think that it goes. Were you about to say something? Is there something you need to say?
No, I was just saying that you hope they asking you what was for did you enjoy your dinner if they cooked you a dinner, because that was part and parcel of the whole family dynamic, which of course we know has fallen into shambles. Is that was the time where you got a chance to commune with one another at the dinner table. You know, you sat around and you talked about what the day was like, what kind of how are you doing in school, what was your homework about. I remember my mom always asked, well, what did you learn today? You know what I mean? She would always ask
what was the best part of your day?
What did you learn today? We're not even
right.
Go
ahead.
baby.
I'm sorry.
No, you've been quiet. You go for it.
And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on with our children nowadays too. We don't have this. We don't have these conversations. My son's going to be here with me for his junior and senior year of high school, and one of my main goals is to make sure that we have dinner together every single night. It's important for me to know what's going on with him, and it's important for him to know that I'm there to listen to him and to say whatever it is he needs to say to me for whatever reason.
We've become so devoid of human contact. You know, technology has made us so devoid, because now you'll see kids that if they do have dinner, they have their phones and they're texting and tweeting and doing all of that stuff while they're eating at the dinner table. Or they're sitting in front of the TV and they're watching TV, or they're playing a game, you know, doing all of those things, you know, in order to communicate with one. I mean, they're not communicating with each other. And you were talking about the face-to-face interaction. That's why people don't know how to date.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is there such thing as dating anymore? I mean, you meet online, you text, you meet, you have sex, and you have nothing to talk about.
You did all that. There are a lot of people that do a whole lot of talking online because there's no pretense. That person doesn't know you. You have the barrier of the internet, you know, the World Wide Web, to buffer you from actual what's reality and what you're putting out there. So you can be whomever it is that you choose in that dating arena. However, if you never go out and meet that person, then you can be whoever you want until eternity. But once you get to go meet this person, you have nothing to say to them. Have you ever met somebody? What are you laughing at, Sporty? Andreas over here making all his damn nose. Yeah. Have you ever met somebody? Have you ever met somebody who was charming as hell, funny, engaging via text, or like even a coworker or whatever, in your messages or whatever with them, they're witty and blah blah blah, and then when you meet them, it's like watching paint dry. It's like, wait, what the motherfucker that was behind the keyboard? Huh?
I'm exactly the opposite. I think that my texts are really dry. I think that the contexts are all. I don't want to just text you all damn day long. I think that I'm just the exact opposite. I don't want to do that shit, man.
It's like have something to say at least. Yeah. You know.
But yeah, people don't. But then they don't even know how to talk to each other. Not so much as even what to say to each other, how to say it to one another. We've become so socially crippled that we are not effectively communicating with each other, telling each other what we need, what we want, what we like, how not to do something, you know, how something may bother us versus, you know, this makes me happy, or, you know, I'm one of those people that if I'm having a bad day, those days are rare, but if I'm having a bad day, I will retreat. If I'm forced into a situation where I have to be among people, then, you know, I'm not taking it out on them as much. I try not to. I'm sure there are moments when I do, but because we've been so stunted on how we interact with people, because think about it like this, Andreas. You have some people who work from home. They never come in contact with another human being all day, except for over a phone or through a computer. They never have any human interaction out of the day. So they never got dressed. They never went outside. They never got in traffic. They didn't have to go to the gas station. They didn't have to go to get coffee. They didn't have to do anything, right? Everything from the comfort of their home. You get them out into an environment where there are other people, where they have to coexist with other people. They have a very difficult time adjusting. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to act.
Well, that makes it a whole, because it's a whole different environment for them. And one of the other things I was going to say is that people are so, they get so complacent with being alone that you're not able to, you don't want to interact with other people. You get so comfortable with it. Your interaction fun time is when you are on the computer, or when you can just interact with people, you know, via a webcam or via a text message or a group, you know, setting.
So
and that's where people's comfort zones are in that type of thing. You know, it's like someone was tweeting earlier, you know, dates now are like you have someone where you just do Netflix and chill, you know, and it's you know, that's nothing more than a glorified sex date, but you know.
I see here on Twitter, Louis Darkside said, you know, yeah, it's Netflix and chill, you know, and he was also saying that he keeps them laughing on and off, you know, on and off the, you know, line or whatever. But the reality is that Netflix and chilling doesn't get you to know a person. That's why I tell people, you know, as a coach, when we talk about dating, and if anybody, you know, wants to go back and listen to that series we did on dating, I specifically said on a first date, when you're getting to know someone, movies are not what you need to do, because that is not an opportunity for you to get to know that person. You need to look into that person's eyes. You need to have conversation with them. And in a movie, you sitting next to somebody looking at somebody else do something in front of y'all. No. Theater date, no. Even though it might be Alvin Ailey or the ballet, you know, the American Ballet Company. Yeah, that's all great and all, but let's not do that first dates when we're trying to get to know one another. I'll get to know you.
Yeah, let's go have coffee. Yeah, let's go have coffee. Let's sit and let's talk. I get it. You know,
let's have a conversation. Go ahead, Sporty.
I was just gonna say, you know, our producer is running her fingers in the chat room, and she's saying that. So are we also mad that we don't have to rub two sticks together to make a fire, and we have to move with the times, and times are moving so fast that we're not allowing ourselves to catch up?
Well, we need to allow ourselves to catch up.
Well, but here's the thing. At some point, we have to strike a balance. I'm not saying everything has to be the way that it was, because I do understand that the only constant in life is change. I get that. However, we can't allow ourselves to go to either extreme. I always tell you about, in psychology, the bell curve, right? You don't want to be on either side of the bottom of the bell. You want to be at the top. That's the middle. That is where the balance is, right? So we don't want to be so far removed from human contact that we never speak to one another. Right? It's text messages, it's instant messages, it's this, that, and the other. We're never actually talking to one another. I'm working from home. I'm doing this. I never go outside, you know, so I'm never having human contact. If I order something, if the UPS man used to, like they used to back in the day, they would ring your doorbell and say, hey, you know, I have a package for Miss Richardson. They don't even do that anymore. They just leave the shit outside and go about their business, right? So I can't even guarantee I'm going to get that human interaction, right, if I'm working from home. So we can't go that far to the extreme where we're that far removed from each other that we can't even communicate with each other. We need to find a balance somewhere in between.
Right.
And that means that, you know, sometimes I pick up the phone and I text you, or I pick up the phone and FaceTime you, or I pick up the phone and actually flip and call you.
That's true. And that's where, you know, she's communicating again. There's a new middle that's being created. And I agree, you know, that there is a new middle ground that's being created, because, you know, it's not out of the ordinary to FaceTime people, you know, to have communication with them, to see them. That's still a form of visiting with someone and seeing them, because given the distances you may have with people, you know, it helps. You know, I think it's on some instances that they're great tools and they're great things to have. You know, and I'll take you and me as a prime example. You know, you're far away, but you can't tell. You know what I'm saying? It's like we communicate like we're right next door to each other in the same place on a regular basis, because we do have the ability to video chat with one another, or you know, how we are able to group chat with one another when we are talking, whether it's for personal or business. You know, we have that ability. So I think on some level it is good that technology has brought people closer together.
Absolutely.
When it's able to be used in a way where it can connect people that normally
but that's the opposite. That's exactly what I'm
write a letter to each other.
But that's what I'm saying to you, Sporty. It's supposed to connect us, but it's disconnecting us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, it's disconnecting us from that human contact as opposed to connecting us. Yeah, I can talk to someone, you know, on Blab. Remember, we were talking to oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm a
great many people.
Shoot, I can't remember his name right now, but he was in Scotland, and then there was Mark, cousin Chan.
Oh yeah.
We were talking to him over in England. Yes, that brought our worlds together. However, it shouldn't, you know, make you and I or me. I'll use cousin Chan now. Literally, we're across the hall from each other, but we'll do stupid shit like text each other. Like, dude, you hungry?
Right.
You up? You know, instead of getting up and poking my head in the door, I'd be like, you up? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I'm gonna read
now,
some
you know what? And that's so funny. That he did that just this morning. He was like, he sent me a text message. You up? And I'm like, yeah. You know.
He who? Andreas?
Yeah.
He don't live with you though.
I know.
He don't live with you though. I'm just saying. I'm pointing out the ridiculous. I'm making up a word here. Write this in the dictionary. I'm talking about the ridiculosity of the fact that I text someone across the hall to say, what? You know what I mean? I'm about to read some comments that are in our Blog Talk chat room. Guest 1441 says, in today's world, communication is overrated. With the advent and advancement of technology, people are less inclined to actually talk to one another, and with people being so transient, the art of communication is being lost. And then they're saying people do a lot of talking, however, talking doesn't always translate to actual communication. And I absolutely agree with you on that. Talking does not necessarily translate to that. However, it's a start, because what we do talk about all the time is that when we talk about these tone, when we leave in text messages or that kind of stuff, you can't discern tone, right? And a lot, you know, more than, I think it's like 78% of our communication is nonverbal. It's nonverbal. So if you're having a conversation with someone and I'm missing out on your body language, do you know what I mean? I'm missing out on all of that, then, you know, am I really getting the message? You know, there's something to be said for eye contact. There's something to be said to body language. For example, Andreas is sitting there with his arms crossed. That is a body language cue of being closed off. He's not talking. When you sat back and you closed your eye, that was a disconnect. That is actually when we're as a coach. Let me let you know, when somebody does like this, they've disconnected. They have disconnected.
I think that's true.
Okay.
I mean, personally, I don't think it's true. I mean, I guess because it's an habit of mine. I don't think it is.
But it is.
But you have to. But here's the thing, though, Andreas, you literally were not talking. You were sitting up, you were alert, you were talking, you were engaged in the conversation. When you got to the point where, okay, I'm not going to say anything, you sat back and crossed your arms. That was a disconnect.
Okay, you're probably right. I mean, but I'm still here though. I'm with you guys. My mind is always working, but okay.
Yeah, and you disconnected so you could chew that damn gum in your mouth.
Hoo-hoo! Busted!
She gave it to me.
I don't care. You didn't have to eat it. Anyway.
Ain't no gum in my mouth.
Whatever. So, you know, we have to be cognizant of the fact that we give messages and clues. For example, when we got on for our pre-show shenanigans, the behind the scenes that we did on Periscope earlier, before we did that and we were getting set up here for behind the scenes and you guys saw me, I hadn't said anything, but you were able to discern based on not the words, but what was going on with my facial my facial, what do you call them? My facial clues. Yeah, that thing, expression, that there was something else that was happening that then subsequently Cousin Chan disclosed to y'all. Well, this is this, right? But you knew. But you wouldn't know that by text. Sporty, you and I have gotten into it over text messages and inboxes a million gazillion times. Because it's like, and I get snippy right back. Be like, I don't know. What did I say? I don't know what crawled up your ass today, but I didn't open your cheeks and let them in.
Yes, you did. And I promise you, I hollered when I saw it. I was like, that was a good one. And see, and then that's the other thing, Kiki. You know, if you ever notice, if you don't know the people, like, you know, okay, it's different when, like, me and you going back and forth on text message, that's a whole different animal. But if you got people who don't really know each other, the tone in the communication of a text message can be taken so out of context and mean something totally different than what it was intended to mean. You know,
unless you know the person. I mean, unless you really
but even
know
if you do know the person, just like I'll even take, you know, me and her having an exchange this week, something that she normally says to me, you know, that I would normally blow over and be like, okay, fine, that's something she normally says. Because I was not having the best day, I took and went a whole other way with it, got upset, was in my feelings, got pissed completely off about it, you know, and we went down a completely different rabbit hole. Right. We went down a completely different rabbit hole about that conversation. But those things, that happens in business, that happens, you can have something so simple that it destroys friendships, relationships, marriages, you know, working, everything, because the tone of a text message, when you can simply pick up a phone and say, you know, meet me at the store, you know, versus meet me at the store or meet me at the store, just however you want to say something to somebody by talking to them or looking at them face to face versus just texting it in capital letters or an exclamation point or a smiley face or no LOL or an LOL makes all the difference in the world with how something is communicating back and forth with somebody.
But I have to now say hello. I have to use one of them acronyms that she actually hates now. I have to actually say LOL to her so that she knows in a text that the tone was my normal sarcastic jab and not that I was actually coming for her. You know what I mean? So
no, you don't. Again, stop it. See, here we go. We finna fight Matt because she tripped. But I get it.
You caught up in your feelings.
Or she'll make a declarative statement. I'm not sassing. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's because we understand the way one another communicates, which we lose a lot now. We're not paying attention to the clues and listening to what our people are saying to us because we've become so disconnected.
Right. Exactly.
We've become so disconnected.
It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. I think that the only way that we're going to actually know what a person's meaning and exactly what they mean, we're going to have to be holograms in someone's living room, or maybe we're on a holographic date. You know, you're sitting there, you're both holograms at Starbucks. So that's the only. That was really funny. You guys just didn't get it.
But no, you know what? And it was what was it? It had to be maybe 10 or 15 years ago. There was a movie. Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. They were in this movie together, and Sylvester Stallone wanted to date this girl. Yeah, Demolition Man. That was the name of the movie. And he was on a date with the girl, and they were gonna go. She was like, "Okay, well, do we have sex now?" He was like, "Well, yeah." And so she puts on this visor to simulate sex, and he's like, "Huh?" And he did the same thing. And they simulate the act of having sex versus the actual act of. She was like, "Ugh, what do you mean, touch me?" You know, and it's like, but you're getting to that time.
We're getting to.
You're getting to that time and place now that you're not gonna,
even taking a dump. Remember, they went to the bathroom and it was like the three
with the shells.
Like, it's like, what is that
what is
for?
That supposed to
but
mean?
Yeah, I don't want to get to that point. I actually enjoyed that part of human interaction. Our producer in the chat room on YouTube said, if you worked in an office, you wish you would work from home. If you work from home, you wish you could work in an office. You humans are never satisfied. And I said, I ain't no damn human. I want to go back to my home planet because you humans drive me batshit crazy, right? But the reality is, on my home planet, we know how to talk to each other. On my home planet, we know, based on the clues that you have given me, that today may not be a good day. I could walk to Cousin Chan's room on a day that I don't feel like texting, or I say, get your ass up and go in there and see. And just by the way she pokes her head out of her pig in a blanket, I know, turn around, exit stage left. She ain't say a word. And I noticed to go check on her periodically and be like, you okay? You need anything? I'm going downstairs. You want something downstairs? I'm about to go to the store. You need something? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But we're not doing that anymore with one another. We are not taking the time to effectively communicate, like I said, in relationships, what our wants, needs, and expectations are. We don't know how to do it. You don't know how to tell somebody, you don't know how to tell somebody, like we talk about the representative all the time, how that person shows up. You don't know how to tell a person. I'll use you for example, Andreas, and this is purely for hypothetical and for example purposes. You don't want to tell a girl right out the gate, and I don't know if this is true about you or not. You don't want to tell a girl right out the gate, I'm snipped and I don't want to have no more kids, right? When she's already everything to the contrary that she says that she wants to have kids or whatever, but you really want to bang her. Right? So you don't want to say to her, well, that ain't going to happen over here, shawty, but I would like to, get up in there. I would like to help you practice. You know what I mean? You don't want to say that, right? Or she may not want to articulate that that's something that she's interested in doing, and she's dating, quote unquote, on purpose with the intention for this because she doesn't want to, quote unquote, scare you off. You know what I mean? So you have to learn how to be able to effectively communicate what you want, what you need, what you expect. And then when what you want, what you need, and what you expect have not been fulfilled, if you aren't getting them, you need to be able to know how to say to someone how to give it to you. Or show them how to give it to you in a way that your message is being received, by the recipient. We can compare it to just, the mail system or even email. You have the sender and you have the recipient. If what the sender is putting in that message, whether it's text or email or whatever, if it's in a language that you don't understand, or if you sense a tone that they're not checking for, that message is never going to be received by the recipient, because what they'll be focused on is what you did and all that other stuff. They're not going to be paying attention to the message.
To what the message is that's coming across. Exactly. And that's what the key component to all of it is that the messages are being lost. They're being completely lost. And what, my thing is, how do we even get back to making sure we get the messages across? And one of the main things we need to do, is to really to effectively communicate is to go back to talking to one another. One of the biggest things I know for me is, like, if I'm upset about something, like genuinely upset, You know, I know for me, I'll get lost in everything that I want to say. It won't always all come out. I want to write it down. I'm good at writing my thoughts out and getting everything I need to say out on paper. And I'll give you a note. If I'm really, really upset, I'd rather write down what's going on, because then you can't interrupt me and tell me, you know, okay, and then I'll be thrown off from what I want to say, because now I got to address what else you done said to me. So let me get everything I need to say out on paper, and then I can really address it and break it down and piece by piece. Because for me, writing is effective communication. You know, and it
can be if you know how to write.
Yes, I'm not getting ready to say to you, and I'm not finna BRBLOLWTHROLTFLMAFOU. You know, I'm just not gonna do all that.
LMFOU.
I said RO to rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off.
Oh,
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but here's the thing too, and it's like. Or if you don't know, you write chicken scratch, because nobody ever taught you how to write something.
Penmanship.
Or, you know, I find myself, you know, I find it difficult to sometimes receive information from people when they post in our chat, or they type stuff on Periscope when we're on Periscope, or even their tweets or their messages on Facebook. Because I'm so distracted by grammatical errors. I'm distracted by spelling errors. It annoys me when people use your, Y-O-U-R, instead of Y-O-U''R-E. You know, your thank you. I'm like, no, I'm not thank you. I'm Kiki. Nice to meet you, right? Like I'm not, you know, it's like, come on, guys, please. Right. And I can find myself reading it several times, because I have been distracted so much that I've actually missed the message that that person was intending to get across. And
but we came up in a different day and time, so that happens.
But you know, she's a real special grammar Nazi for real.
Well, you can blame Miss Dorothy for that, because again, this is a woman who I told you when I was bored would say to me, read a book, made me read the dictionary. You know, when computers and all that other stuff first started getting popular, she refused to let us get one. First computer I ever owned, I purchased it myself. She wouldn't, because she was like, yeah, no. You know, she said to me when she was mad the internet was going to be the death of me, because she thinks that that technology is taking us someplace where it ought not. And it very well can. And I think in a lot of ways we're allowing it to, because anything unchecked will go awry. You know, you're not paying attention to the weeds in your yard, it's going to kill your grass. You know, you're not paying attention to what your kid is doing, guess what? She got 4 dicks in her mouth. You know what I mean? Or he got 4 in his ass. However, you know what I mean? And no lube, so they're not an amateur. So I'm just saying, anything that goes unchecked can go awry. So I think now is the awakening. We see where this can take us, you know, to where we putting on glasses and simulating sex than actually having physical interaction. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I'm not interested in going there. So, you know, for those people who are around me, I just want to let them know.
We're not simulating nothing. No simulation.
No, you need to come do that. You need to come handle that.
People are hilarious to me.
The link. Go ahead, Andres. I know you have some things you wanted to bring up.
You know, the biggest thing that I really want to talk about is the kids. We covered that. But another thing that is really that not bothers me, but something I just really like to be clear about is, and we spoke a little bit on it, but it's the state of dating. I mean, how do we do it anymore? What it is, and I don't know if we covered it enough, but it's something that's really been on my mind. And the reason being is I met someone, and the only thing this person wants to do is text on me, and I just can't. I just can't do that.
You can't be meeting people when you are already in a relationship.
I am not in no damn relationship. I keep telling you.
That's a private joke, y'all. It's a private joke.
And I want my name back and my damn theme music, because I'm taller than I'm bigger than all of them. I want my theme music back.
Dislike. In lap.
I want my theme music back.
Anywho.
But no, dating. What? I mean, it's.
I want Andreas back.
I am back, damn it.
What's for dinner? Baby.
You're a droid. You are something.
But it ain't like a
You know,
milk.
you and your gay cat. You and your gay cat.
Anyway, let's go on ahead. Let's move on. Let's move on. So you wanted to talk about dating in terms of dating, right?
It's. I mean, what do you want? It's text. It's like, damn, can we talk?
I'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't mean to put a pause button on you, but we have something similar to that in our Ask PDA letter. So I want to reserve my commentary for that. But we will touch on that. It is. We are getting away in the dating world. We are getting away from a lot of the quote-unquote social norms. And our producer was saying, do you know how many times the English language has changed since its inception? I mean, the English language is a derivative of another language anyway. It's not an authentic language. It's not something that stood on its own. So, she's saying what I'm saying in chat.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I see everything has evolution and English language is no different. Absolutely, but I don't know if a bunch of acronyms is actual language.
Wait a minute. What did she say?
She said that everything has evolution and the English language is no different.
Okay.
Any language is no different. I mean, thus you have, if that were, and to her point, you have languages that are dead languages at this point because nobody's speaking them anymore. You know, for a long time, you know, when people were talking about Latin, you know, is a dead language, right? And I took Latin, and everybody was like, "Why you ain't take Spanish?" I'm like, "Bitch, I live in a Mexican neighborhood, a Puerto Rican neighborhood, a Cuban neighborhood. Why I need to take Spanish? Like, I don't understand, right? Like, I live in Spain. I live in you know what I mean? I'm the minority." But Latin, you know, if I were to go into medicine, if I were to go into law, if there were a lot of other fields, well, that would come in handy for me. You know,
Correct.
So you know, but most people just don't sit and speak Latin. Pig Latin maybe, but not just Latin. You know, however, the English language is a derivative of that as well. You know, it's part of the Romance languages, French and English and Spanish. You know, they're all part of that tree. However, I'm sure, you know, those people who spoke English in the 1600s were probably like, if they had to talk to us, could you imagine if somebody from that time or we were teleported to their time, what kind of impasse we would be? You know, and we're speaking the actual same language, meaning English, but there's so much difference in the vernacular that we wouldn't be able to understand one another in most situations.
Yeah, I could just imagine walking up to King Lear going, "Yeah, I mean."
Like, who's Yamin?
Right.
Who's that? My name is Lear, King Lear, not Yamin.
God,
you know what
that
I mean?
is hilarious.
So what's up?
Right, pimping. Like, what's pimping? What's pimping? Could you imagine?
It ain't easy.
Clearly it ain't, because he fell down on the job.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Lord.
I'm just saying, Andreas fell down on his pimp game. Pimp down.
You know what?
They made me stressed.
In lap.
Everybody slips at some point. Everyone does.
Yeah.
In distress.
People do slip. Your ass fell.
Wow.
I got a trick.
No,
I have a question though. Our incredible invisible intern sent this to us while I get ready to get our Periscope ready for our Ask PDA letters, because I said we have 2, so we need to get that in there and have a discussion about it. But what she said was questions. Why are people so offended or opposed to questions? I was taught that if you don't know, ask. So if we're having a conversation and I'm confused or I don't understand, shouldn't I ask? In my opinion, if you're irritated by the question, then you're hiding something. and that is going to make me ask more questions. Also, it's perfectly okay to say I don't want to answer, or that's not any of your business if the question I ask requires a response that's too personal. So, go ahead.
Go ahead. Is this by text or are you talking to me? I mean, it's just that
either way.
When she says this, no.
Either way.
No.
Okay, well then give both points of view then.
Because if it's by text, it's like, how many fucking times do I have to text you and tell you the same damn thing? Now I'm pissed off.
But it's not the same thing. They're not asking the same thing. They're asking for clarification.
It's an initial question.
Right. Well, maybe
so
because I'm just tired of damn
you're one of those people that she's talking about who has a problem with questions.
Well, no, it's just like maybe I'm just tired of fucking texting. Maybe why don't you just call me or we can talk later on tonight? Some people just get really tired of just damn texting. I don't want to just fucking text. Call me or let me call you. No. And honestly, if I have to text it irritates me. And I'm driving. Why the fuck are you texting me?
Okay, well, what about if it were in person? What about if it were in person?
In person's fine. In person's great. Let's talk. Let's meet at Bucks, and you can buy me coffee because the coffee costs $3.19, and I don't want to buy it myself. So we can go to Starbucks. We can meet at Starbucks, and we can talk all damn day. I don't want to text. I just don't want to do it. And plus, I'm probably trying to get something, and I just can't do it by text.
I like texting because you can get right to the point, and it cuts out all that extracurricular bullshit.
No, it's too impersonal. Why do I have to be
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think that on some level it can be less intrusive than actually picking up the call to call someone. Because I can shoot you a text message, and I have done this to you, Andreas, and said, "Can you talk?" You know what I mean?
I get that.
Hold on. That's what she was saying. She preferred to text. So I'm just getting into her point, is that she's saying, can you talk? You can say yes, and then she can pick up the phone and call you and ask you 500 questions, right? As opposed to, or if we're getting into a conversation that requires a whole lot of text, then I can say, look, this is too much to type. Can I call you?
Exactly. Exactly.
So again, is it the questions, or is it what is it? Because her question is about why do people get offended when you're asking questions? Why are they opposed to answering the questions? So answer my damn question. Why are you so opposed?
I get it. Maybe they're hiding something, or they're just tired of your damn questions.
That's what she said. She thinks that they're hiding something.
Because they couldn't just be tired of answering her damn questions. Maybe she just got too many damn questions. I mean, how many times can you,
Okay, here's what
I think it's some BS.
I'm a question. I ask a lot of questions. And the reason why I ask questions is because oftentimes when I'm asking questions, I'm leading you down a rabbit trail for the truth. I want to get to the meat and the potatoes of things, right? So it's not that I'm not understanding the concept. Sometimes if I'm asking you a lot of questions, I'm trying to get you to see how ridiculous what the fuck you just said was to me, right?
No, you just trying to set somebody up.
No, I'm not.
Woo! You just said it. You try to lead them down a rabbit hole. You trying to set them up.
No, I just want you because oftentimes people don't want to hear what they've said back to them.
Understood. Okay, I get that.
So if I ask questions and then you start saying things, you're like, well, wait a minute, no, that doesn't really make sense. Or you like, or there have been many times when people have paused and y'all have said it to me too. Well, if you put it like that, that sounds fucked up. No, I didn't put it like that. You did. That's your shit. Right? I'm just saying what I heard you say. So again, is the aversion to the question because you don't want to really give the answer? Is it because you don't know the answer? What is the aversion to the question?
That's a good question.
So we gonna play games on questions, huh?
No, that's really thought provoking.
Did he really say that's a good question?
Because it's really thought provoking. It's something that I would like ponder over as I'm stirring the spaghetti sauce. Seriously though.
You don't need to mention spaghetti sauce, sir.
I let that go, Kiki. I let that one go.
Welcome to all of you guys who are joining us on Periscope right now. I'm getting ready to get our Ask PDA letter ready for you guys, and I'm also going to put up the camera. We have two Ask PDA letters for you guys to ponder and pontificate on today. And I want to make sure that we are ready. Thank you so much for the hearts. Big shout out to all of you guys on Periscope who are joining us. For those of you guys who are just joining us on YouTube or on Blog Talk Radio, you are listening to Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss Kiki, the consummate provocateur, and today we are talking about the art of communication. And this is the part of the show where we do our Ask PDA letter, and that's when a listener will write in and ask us for our opinion on a specific topic. Sometimes it's about what we're talking about, sometimes it's not. But these two came in to, about today's topic, and I felt like I would be remiss in my duties if we didn't cover them. I'm going to mute the two noisy people that you saw at the beginning of the stream while I read this letter and get the information out there for you guys. I want to hear your opinion for these two letters. Well, I'm going to read the first one. We're going to discuss it a little bit, and then I'm going to read the next one. So, hey, Felicia, I see you in there. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's get this Ask PDA letter on the road. But before we can do it, we got to play the disclaimer. So here we go.
At some point, you will be affected by something said on this show. But playing devil's advocate is meant to be a forum for open, honest, and more importantly, judgment-free dialogue. The opinions expressed here may not necessarily be those of the host or the show in general, but we're willing to have the uncomfortable conversations so that we can heal and find solutions for our listeners and quite possibly even ourselves. Enjoy the show.
All right.
At some point, you will.
I don't know. Y'all see, this is why I really hate Blog Talk Radio, because they do what they want to do. They play the intro when they feel like playing the intro. They repeat it when they want to repeat it, but that's okay, because right now we are doing our Ask PDA letter, and it is being brought to you by our producer's drink of the week. And if you haven't had a chance to check out Cousin Chan's Strawberry Lemon Martini, shame on you. What's up to the other Felicia who just sent me a message? So we got Felicia ISHA and then CIA on the line. So let me go ahead and read this Ask PDA letter for you. First up, it's Dear PDA. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do the one that Andreas spoke about. Dear PDA, I've recently been communicating via email and text messaging with the lady that I met on a social media site. About a day later, I got a message from her saying she'd prefer our method of communication be kept to email and texting because she wasn't much of a phone talker. Over the past few months, I've been out a number of times with other women who also said they prefer to keep communication limited to email and texting. Is this becoming the norm? Maybe it's just me, but I feel that when you initially meet a person, you should be able to hear the tone they're giving. I think that's more effective than trying to figure out a full page of words. Am I wrong? Signed, Call Me Old-Fashioned. We're getting answers already in chat, Sporty. I hope you're taking note of what they're saying. I'm going to go first. Let me get the camera to sit up straight because it's drunk right now. It's been drinking our producer's drink of the week. All right. I'm going to go first on this one, and then I'm going to let, if they have something different that they want to add, I'm going to give Sporty and Andreas the opportunity to speak on it. But what I will say to you, I am a little bit old-fashioned, I'm hearing something else, sweetheart. You're saying that these women are saying to you that they prefer that your method of communication be kept to emails and text messages and they're not much of a phone talker. There are a couple of things that can be happening here. And one would be the obvious, and that would be that they're married. So they don't want to be caught up in the whole mess. And if they are married and they're doing texting and emailing, clearly they have not read my book, The Other Woman Code of Conduct, what every other woman should know and men too. Otherwise, they would know not to be texting or sending emails. The second thing that comes to mind is that either you're being catfished or these women aren't actually women. And if that's the case, then, you know, that would be why they don't want to talk to you. I can't understand why somebody a day after talking to you, short of you being dull as, you know, and boring and you know, pretty much talking to you is like watching grass grow, or you're one of those people that we spoke about that's absolutely charming behind the keyboard, but behind a microphone or in face-to-face, you're an absolute snorefest. I don't think you're old-fashioned in wanting to meet these women and actually have, or talk to them and have actual conversation with them. If you keep meeting these types of women, you might want to stay off of social media, picking them. I'm just saying. Try meeting actual real-life human women where you met, and then you can continue to have conversation. But if all they want to do is text, that's all they want to be, is text buddies. That's it. They're not trying to go any further. They're not trying to entertain anything else. And I'm going to shut up now because it is time for me to let my other two my co-hosts here, I'm going to have their say, see what they have to say about it. Go ahead.
Girl, quit playing. There's something else absolutely going on with that. They're either married, in a relationship, whatever the case may be. And they're keeping you a secret. There's no other reason for something like that to be going on. Or like the catfish scenario she was saying. Why would you put yourself in a situation where you have to separate yourself to the point where you're not communicating at all, other than that limited? Yeah, there's something behind the scenes on there, for real behind the scenes. I would get rid of that situation completely, because that's some bullshit. Pure bullshit. They don't want to be seen. Something is wrong somewhere. Something.
Andreas, what about you? Do you have anything different to add?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question first. I'm thinking I missed something. Maybe I didn't miss it. Now, this is coming from a woman, right? That the person paying this letter is a woman, right? Is it? Am I right? Am I on the right track here?
No, it's a man. A man who wrote this.
Hello? Oh, it's a man. Okay, a man wrote that. I got lost.
Don't hello me when your ass wasn't listening.
Well, no, I was listening. I got lost. I got lost in translation. I got lost. Okay, there's some bullshit going on there. I think that I don't want to say exactly what's on my mind, because I know that this man is probably listening and he take offense to it. Okay.
Well, he want to know.
You want to know? I think he's a fucking idiot if he doesn't realize that either these women are married in other relationships, that they don't want to talk. They want to do, just like you said, they just want to be pen pals. I'm thinking that maybe he's thinking that these relationships are something other than what they actually are. I think that he's just not. Maybe he's just not. I don't know.
Don't call him names.
I'm trying. See, I did not just say before I said that I didn't want to offend them. Did I not just say that?
Okay.
See, you getting on.
I don't think the offense would be your advice. What would be offensive is that you're calling him names. That's not productive.
I'm not calling him names. I'm not. Okay,
I'm not see calling. What the people. There's been a lot sporty that was going on Periscope. What are they saying on Periscope while I check our Twitter and our chat room?
Either he being catfished, or he's they're not real, or they lied to him. The same thing that we were saying.
They're not really good.
Okay. Okay. So somebody was saying that the stream on Periscope went black, but I don't think it did. Can you still see me?
It's not on mine. I can still see you fine on here.
Okay, great. Well, they need to go out and come back in then. All right. So, what did in chat? Let me check Twitter. Then I got quiet as church mice on Twitter. They're Mises. let's see here. They're not saying anything in chat either, huh?
Mm-mm.
All right, well,
I don't
all
see
right.
anything
So
either.
everybody pretty much, I think that pretty much everybody has agreed with us that, you know, the women that you are communicating with that tell you that the only thing that they want to do is text you and email you, clearly they are either in relationships or they're not women. Boy Meets Planet says people are born in a culture where interaction with humans is done by, I didn't see the last part of it.
By screen.
By screen. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's fine. Y'all communicate with me on Periscope and here live on YouTube via screen. But if clearly, thank you, Boy Meets Planet, clearly he's looking for something else. And if he wants to speak to them more frequently and he wants to have a conversation, so clearly there's something else that he's expecting or that he wants from these ladies that they are not capable or willing to give to him, and that's fine, but you just need to leave him alone. So it's not a matter of you being old-fashioned. You just need to find somebody and meet somebody and talk to somebody who shares your thoughts, who shares your
Exactly.
moral you know, all of that. My point is, showing face is hard to people to do nowadays. Well, I mean, it's not even so much face-to-face. He's just asking to talk to him on the phone. He ain't even asking to meet him face-to-face at this point. He's like, let me talk to you, you know? So, I don't know who that person is, but whoever, don't post me no crazy stuff. All right, so I got another letter for you guys. Here it goes. Y'all ready?
Yes. What we got?
Okay. Dear PDA, I'm writing to you as a last resort. Again, this is a situation where we're talking about how relationships are suffering from lack of communication. I'm writing to you this letter as last resort. I've been married for 13 years to a man who does not communicate, to say the least. I've begged, I've pleaded, I've fought, and waited for him to talk about something other than his children. Now, I have met a man who's divorced, and we have wonderful conversations. There's nothing more to it than conversation at this point. My question is, if lack of communication is the only thing wrong in a marriage, is it enough of a reason to end the marriage? I was always brought up to hang in there, and make it work at all costs. I'm at my wit's end. Sign, talk to me. Before I get to y'all and let y'all give her the business, again, I'm going to come to y'all if y'all have something different you guys want to add. Sporty, can you pay attention to what's going on Periscope so that you can get their comments and read them to me, because I'm going to be giving mine and I won't be able to see what they're saying. Lady, talk to me. Let me tell you something here. You got a lot of moving parts in this letter. First of all, you said to me, I've begged, I've pleaded, I've fought, and I waited for him to talk to me about something other than his kids. His kids? What's really going on with the way that you view his children? And they're not your children? So is your issue with the fact there's something else underlying with that? You know, because you didn't say he didn't want to talk about anything other than, you know, what's going on with the kids. You didn't say he don't want to talk about anything other than the bills or household finances or anything like that. You said his kids. So there's some underlying something that you're not disclosing. I don't know what it is, but I'm just letting you know, in your communication, you are leaving a lot of stuff up for grabs. Second thing you said, I met a man who's divorced and we have wonderful conversations. You are now, according to my book, being groomed to now have somebody on the side. You're grooming him to be your man on the side. Because you're now engaging in conversations because he's feeling a need that your husband isn't feeling for you. And the fact that you would follow that up saying if communication is the only thing wrong in your marriage, is that enough to end your marriage? Yeah, clearly lack of communication has ended many marriages. But you have to try some other ways, some more creative ways to communicate with him. Because it sounds like to me, you want it out. And when you were taught to think, you know, to hang in there and make it work at all costs and all that caca, but then you follow it up with I met a man who's divorced. Really? You want an okay to fuck with this dude. And you want an okay to get out of your marriage. There's some other stuff that's going on and you're not being truthful about it. And I can't really give you a whole lot of advice if you're not going to give me the truth. So Like I said, you can't handle the truth because you weren't even ready to handle the truth by giving us what was said, what was really going on in your life. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the mic for Sporty and also for Andreas to tell us what's going on. Before I do that, I am getting a bunch of text messages about this one. They said, yeah, without communication, marriage can dwindle. To do something unexpected to get him to talk and you're out of line with the other guy. You know, out of line, out of sight, out of mind, whatever you want to say. Don't start bringing somebody else in on your BS. Until you resolve this issue with your husband, you don't need to be trying to get emotionally attached to another dude, because right now you're having mental course with this other dude. Y'all heard me? That's a trademark word, by the way. You're having mental course with this dude. You're mentally fucking with this dude, and and I don't mean fucking with meaning like you messing with him. You're mentally fucking, basically, because you're like, our conversations are all great, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm going to talk to Sporty. Sporty?
Well, yes, girl. Our Periscope people say, danger, Will Robinson, danger. She is so in the danger zone. She is looking for the side piece. She is so ready to do something different and blaming that as an excuse. And my opinion is of the same thing. She's left out so much to that whole thing, and it's not okay. She's doing a whole lot of unaccountable conversation versus, you know, what is it about her that she's not communicating with her husband. 13 years. She could have been said something was going on, and his kids, after 13 years, those are your stepchildren, even if you didn't give birth to them yourself. So, yeah, there's a whole lot more than that going on.
Okay. What about you, Andre?
I think that, okay, they've been married for 13 years. I think that this is, I think that she's gotten bored in her marriage. I think that she's already done whatever she's going to do with this man, and she's going to continue to do what she's doing with this man. I'm not talking about her husband. I think the reason why she wrote this letter is to try to get us to agree with what she's doing, and even though she's already made up her mind exactly what it is she wants and how she wants it. And she, like I said, she's trying to get us to agree with her. I think that the communication issue is not coming from him. I think it's coming from her.
Okay.
I think that she's just looking for us to agree with her. And I hope that she's listening too, because I think that it's a bunch of garbage. There's too many gray areas.
Okay. All right. Clearly, we all have a lot of different opinions about, excuse me, my camera is doing some crazy things. Clearly, we all have some very opinions about what's going on with this lady, but I think we're all in agreement in the sense that, lady, you're treading on very thin ice. You are going down a very slippery slope that if the lack of communication doesn't kill your marriage, your affair will.
Mm-hmm.
Your affair will. So to the first letter writer, my advice to you would be to find you some more women. Stay off of social media trying to find women. Mm-hmm. And then for the second letter, talk to me. You need to, if you haven't suggested counseling so that you guys can know how to communicate with each other, because you said you've tried all these methods, but it sounds to me like your method is not a way that he responds to, and so he's shut down. So, you know, the begging, the pleading, and all that might sound like nagging and whining. I'm just saying. But again, I can't really say because you weren't being honest. You weren't being honest. All right. For those of you guys on Periscope, we are going to wrap up our show on YouTube right now. If you want to be a part of that, the rest of the conversation, we have about 7 minutes left before we wrap this whole thing up. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate and click the link and watch us on YouTube. Love you guys. They're giving all the hearts. I appreciate that. We'll see you guys on the flip side. All right, bye-bye, Periscope. All right, see y'all suckers. You sucker MCs over there.
Sucker MC. I like
What else
mental
you got?
course. I agree with Wesley in our chat room. Copyright that. Now Wesley, she probably already has, dear.
I did.
It's not that
I
new.
did.
It really is definitely not that new, love. We've covered so much, Kiki. You know, one of the other things I wanted to definitely to go over is the lax in communication within groups like boss and employer, teachers and parents, you know, upper management and clients, you know, and how we've been talking so much about how quickly people are fast to shoot an email or to shoot a text message versus, you know, you don't hear people saying, you hear the word conference call, but, you know, very rarely have I had to go to a meeting in a very long time where I've had to actually go into the office and sit down and, you know, be across the table negotiating or you know, put on my suit, you know what I'm saying, and actually walk into the office and talk to people. There's always a video conference or a conference call, or, you know, I only have to dress from the waist up to meet with clients now, and it's like, you know, it's so lazy and lax, you know, and granted, I may not have to travel to China or Australia or wherever to meet with people anymore, but, you know, people don't, they don't communicate like that anymore. And on a local scale, you know, parent-teacher conferences are, you know, you have to have an email address for the school so that you can pull up your kid's progress report versus going to the school, meeting the teacher and saying, you know, let me get a face-to-face one-on-one with this teacher so I can see what this teacher's about, so I can know what they're teaching my child, so I can see what's in your classroom, what's on your bulletin board. Do they even make bulletin boards anymore? You know, what am I doing? What's Mike doing in this classroom? You know, I'm looking at my iPad and I'm looking at this thing. Leave me alone.
Didn't you say though last week that you thought it would be cool if they could do parent-teacher conferences via Skype or some visual chat medium?
If it were necessary, you see what I'm saying? I could see if I were a parent who worked, you know, a second or third shift, and I can't be at the 7 o'clock parent-teacher conference, and I can get on my phone and Skype the teacher and have this dialogue, and we're talking, you know, and I can log in and see what my kid is doing on the camera in the classroom to see what's going on and how this teacher is treating the students or whatever, something of that nature. But I want to go shake the teacher's hand. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what the administration, you know, what the administration is doing and what we're doing. You know, I just think there needs to be more hands-on together.
I think because we're running out of time, I think that it would be important for us, you know, the lack of communication between educators and parents has now caused the disconnect in what we were talking about last week in the way that our children are being educated, because there was a time when parents were accounted for in the schoolhouse with the teachers and they were on one page, and now, you know, you got the parents taking the kids' side instead of the teacher side, when before it used to be we took the teacher side first and then wanted to hear what you had to say afterwards. You know, because we know kids lie, you know, because I remember that phrase. Now, what's she going to lie on you for? Why would she just make this up about you? Or why wouldn't she just like you? You know, kids be like, the teacher don't like me. Why wouldn't they like you? What are you doing for the teacher not to like you?
My haircut.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that lack of communication has caused a rift in the overall education system and the failure of it. I'm going to say a couple of comments that were in the chat. Guest 1441 in our Blog Talk chat says, does this show go into overtime? And I said, not typically. We do have extended conversations, but we won't be having one tonight. And then they said, how can you be married to someone you don't talk to unless, of course, you're both fine with it, but after 13 years, she should be used to it by now. And then they said they actually think she's found the side piece. Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. She was just waiting for us to give her permission to do it. That's all.
Right.
Exactly.
She wanted us to give her permission to say, well, shoot, if you ain't talking to your husband, he ain't talking to you, then go ahead and get out. But you know, how you going to plan B your husband, you know, for somebody that's divorced? Clearly, he has some other stuff that's going on, too. So, you know, you picked one that you knew was unavailable enough for you to, you know, back out when you wanted to be done with it. But, you know, you set yourself up. We have come to the end of the show, guys, and I need to wrap things up. Make sure you join us. Well, first of all, thank you for tuning in and enjoying our conversation on the art of communication, because we did a lot of communication today. Next week, what are we talking about, Sporty?
It's about race, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Next week's show title, it is about race, damn it. So we will be talking about, using the race card, whether we're using it too much. No. These are issues where it's about race, because there's been nothing else left for it to be whittled down to. So we're going to talk about that blatant, overt racism. And then we're going to have, I'm sure, a sex conversation soon after that. So make sure you tune in, same bat time, same bat channel, next week right here on YouTube, on Blog Talk, on Periscope, on all of that. On behalf of our producer, Cousin Chan, our incredible invisible intern, 40 Spunky Angel, nothing like a pimp, Andreas Ferguson, and myself, the consummate provocateur, Miss Kiki, we would like to thank you again for joining us, and we will see you again next week. Y'all ready to have a Kiki, damn it?
Yes, I am so ready.
I'm ready to have a Kiki, too. But before we go, if there's anything else they want to know about us, what do they need to do?
Google us, bitches.
Unless you my mama. All right, I'm out.
Don't move.
Oh, God. Like that, don't you? You got hair in there?
I have some in my hair.
You're listening to Plain Devil's Advocate, hosted by my baby, Miss Kiki. You don't have no business? Yeah, you don't have no business. You don't want me to business you in front of your little place.